Hi, I'm Harrison.
And I'm Sean, and you're listening to Why Didn't I Know That?
Where every episode we pick a topic, research it, and share things we didn't know.
Every topic is randomly generated, so we can discuss anything from coffins to caffeine.
And everything in between. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're sure that whatever it is, it'll make you go,
Why didn't I know that?
Hi, welcome back to number, what are we, 4?
4.
Yeah, we're really deep into these now, aren't we?
Yeah, welcome.
It's been a while. I'm so sorry we've been gone. We need a little explanation. I need an explanation. This has nothing to do with Sean.
Yeah, Harrison's letting the team down.
I'm letting the team down. I'm so sorry. We got a lot of good reviews. People were like, hey, love the podcast. It's great. Keep them coming. And we did put out 2 and then just died. So we didn't die. When we're recording this, the third one is not out, but the third one will be out. But by the time you hear this, you'll have heard it. And that was recorded in November of 2020 and coming out in, what are we? June
of 2021.
So that's a long time away, and I'm sorry. But anyway, we got it figured out. This is the takeaway from today is that this is the most inconsistent podcast probably around.
You'll get an episode when you get an episode.
Yeah. So you can't be mad if it's not weekly, or it might not even be monthly. At this rate, it couldn't even be. It might not be yearly, but you're gonna get another one. So there will be more, but just don't expect them regularly. That's all. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
So the topic of this week we chose
this
aliens.
week. He says
this
as though
week, as if we do this weekly.
Anyway.
It's aliens.
Yes.
So
yes,
should be interesting.
It should be interesting. And you were saying before we started this that
aliens is deceptively hard to find information you don't know about, because turns out no one knows anything.
No one knows anything.
That's all about aliens. It's like you look anything else, it's like we don't know.
That's right. So
could be, but we don't know.
Sean and I don't know, and like the world doesn't know. So anyway, I found some stuff, but it would be just a little bit of a banter, as they would say in England.
Oh yeah.
About
my crumpets.
What do you wanna start off with, Sean? What are we working with here?
What are we working with? Well, humans believe or hope that we're not alone in the universe. I think is the first thing that kind of comes when you start talking about aliens. However, NASA reports that no evidence of alien life has been recorded, like of them visiting our planet. That's
okay.
That comes up when you first.
Like official evidence.
Official evidence is none, according to NASA.
Okay.
But that does not mean the universe is lifeless.
Yes. But the people say that though.
Yes.
Because we have no evidence.
Right.
Okay. We're simple creatures. We need to see something to believe it.
Pretty much. So right now they're doing astrobiology research, which is they're testing for habitability to missions through like Mars, Saturn's moon, Titan.
Okay.
And they analyze like, could life be possible here? And one thing that they found was on Mars with the rover Curiosity. Mars used to be more warm and wet and was actually a habitable place for life.
Like when? You say,
I don't know, probably millions or billions of years ago. I just said ancient Mars.
Oh, so like forever
ancient,
ago. Okay. But
so at one point, life could have been on Mars.
Okay. So there could have been aliens.
There could have been aliens on Mars.
Okay. Which is why, is it going back that way? Because like Elon is like taking us all to Mars. So right. Are we reversed that? Do you know? You probably don't know.
I don't.
It's the name of the podcast. Don't worry about it. That's interesting. So
that's kind of neat that I didn't know Mars was actually habitable.
No. Or any of our planets.
Yeah, I thought Earth was the only one.
Like ever.
In our solar system that was habitable at one point. But Mars
incorrect. You don't need to know the names of the people. I have them here. But this is astronomers at the Carnegie Institution in Washington, D.C. They compiled a list of 17,129 nearby stars most likely to have planets that could support complex life. There's 17,000 potential planets nearby. When they say nearby, we're not talking like down the street. When people say nearby, this stuff with space kind of freaks me out because it's like
crazy how far like we can see with telescopes. Like when they're like, yeah, we found 17 stars that are
17,000.
17,000
But those are
stars.
like really far away. Anyway,
Yeah.
they say stars must be at least 3 billion years old, which needs to allow for like life to evolve and stuff, and have a low mass and have high levels of iron metals. Metals are needed to form rocky Earth-like planets. So they like kind of know and they can figure that stuff out. They're guessing it could be around 17,000. But I went a little further and I found that so there's this is like these numbers are going to mean nothing to anybody because you can't even fathom these numbers, right? There are estimated 100 billion with a B, 100 billion stars in our galaxy. That's just the Milky Way. And then it's probably about 3 times that, but they only just say about 100 billion. So that's a lot.
That's absurd.
You know, that's a couple.
One or two.
And of those, you got to stick with me to the end here. Of those 100 billion, okay, potential stars in our galaxy, about 20 to 50% of them probably harbor planetary systems. So like it's just a star that has planets around it. So about 50%, let's say, of those 100 billion maybe have planets around them. But not all of those would be capable of sustaining Earth-like life. So only about 1 to 5 of those systems maybe could harvest life.
So 1 to 5
right?
of those systems out of 100.
Sorry, 1 out of 5. I said 1 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Like 1 to 5% of or something like that. I don't have the exact numbers.
Very small amount.
But that's what we're trying to say here. And then this is going to get kind of weird because they said of those systems, anywhere from 0 to 100% of them could develop life. Well, obviously.
Great
But
statistic.
after all this, getting rid of it, it basically was saying, and then there's like, what's the percentage that if they did develop life and it was intelligent life, that they could communicate with us, which would be like through radio waves or other electromagnetic signaling. That's how we can. So 10 to 20% of all those little things now is that they could maybe communicate with us. And then you need to account for the fact that there's like time that stuff takes to travel. And we've only been around, our sun has been around for like 10 billion years, but the Earth's only been around for about 3.5 billion years. And we've only had radio waves for about 100.
100 years?
Years.
Oh, okay.
So if they ever did, and we're using that kind of stuff, we would never have gotten it. And if they did, we would never receive it in this probably lifetime because it takes so long to come here. So what we're trying to say after all that is that they could be out there and they could be trying to contact us, but we will never know because it takes so long and they're so far away and anyway, so it's ridiculous. But then what we came back down to after all of that, they said there's about 1,000 detectable civilizations out there at any given moment, they suspect.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's a lot just to say that there's possibly 1,000 like aliens species.
Going off of that, actually, there's a project called SETI, SETI, which is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, which is monitoring electromagnetic radiation. So they're trying to detect those waves from other aliens.
Yeah. Where is this?
That I don't know.
Okay, with somewhere like,
but it's like huge. It's in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, like huge. I don't know what they are, but they
detectors
detect the rays. They detect the things, the magnetic waves.
This is what I wanted to say though. So we're like looking for that, but what if 2 things? What if they are not using that kind of frequency or whatever to communicate with us, and like they're communicating with us, but we just don't have the capacity or technology to receive it.
Yeah.
So they're like electromagnetic wave, and then the aliens are like, "What do you guys? That's like we don't use that."
Yeah.
And they're trying to send us something else, but we don't even have like the technology to
accept that transmission.
Have you ever thought about that?
Not a lot.
I was thinking this is something that I've thought about though, because like first of all, here's the question we should have started with. Do you believe that there's other life forms out there?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be. We're just talking about those numbers. And the universe is so big, there has to be.
Well, it's isn't the universe ever expanding?
Yeah.
At some
so if it never
point,
ends.
somewhere.
I think it's pretty selfish to think that we're the only species out here. And if we are, that's pretty pathetic. Like we could do better. The universe could do better. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Universe.
Produce something better than
Figure it out.
humans. What's up with this? But I was going to say that I don't know if you've ever talked to or gotten into any of this stuff, but like we live in obviously, like four dimensions, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are other things outside of that that have been proven.
Okay.
But we can't detect. So I can see you because my eyes get
Yes.
light a certain. What if there are, like I said, things out there that we don't even know exist, but just because we don't have the as our bodies, the sense. So like we can hear things because we hear audio. What if there's like one just there and there's like an alien somewhere in this room that we can't detect because our bodies don't have that? You ever thought about that? It kind of goes with like ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to think about, to be honest with you. But you just wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
There's no way you'd know. So, hi, John, the alien that's sitting over there.
Oh, yeah.
If
Welcome to the...
If he can see us, welcome to the podcast.
Got anything to say? John's a quiet one.
Anyway, that's a little tangent. I just think about this sometimes. You know?
It's just thinking of aliens is always such a weird... Well, it's a weird thing to think about because it's so unknown.
Yes, you don't know anything about it.
It's all up to the imagination.
Mm-hmm. And it's fake, like what we know about it, or what we think when you think about aliens.
Right. Everything we know is made up.
It's not based on, like, we don't know exactly. Like, they're based on, it's kind of guessing. So it's so strange. But do you have any, like, abduction stories or something? You had one you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I got one. It's about Betty and Barney Hill.
Yes.
Which was in the 1960s, I believe. Of course, their story was adapted into a book and a TV film because
this was one of the first
that's what always
ones.
happens, and it was one of the first ones, I believe, or one of the first ones that came out. So
it was publicized.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So what happened to them was they were driving home, and a flying saucer came down and found them while they were driving, and they pulled over and looked at it, and they saw 8 to 11 humanoid figures in the saucer is what they claim.
Okay.
And when they got back in their car to drive away because they were scared, they heard... Obviously, I would probably be a little unnerved if that happened. Yep. They heard beeping and buzzing sounds, and they experienced an altered state of consciousness that left their minds dulled, and when they returned to full consciousness, they were nearly 56 kilometers south of where they were.
I've heard a lot of these types of things.
Which, yeah, the more alien kind of sightings or abduction stories you look up, it's always like a loss of consciousness, or like they don't remember what happened
the last 3 hours or something. Yeah. Did you ever watch the Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, the one about aliens?
No, I did not.
You should watch it after. And anybody listening, you should watch it because it's like it's an unsolved mystery. It's the whole point of the thing. But they're like 3, I think, separate stories, and they're all talking about the same event that happened on the same night, and none of them knew each other, but they all experienced the same thing. So it kind of makes it go, okay, like, are they all making it up?
Mm-hmm.
And they all separately, before they even knew what happened, it was basically an alien abduction. There was this big bright light in this city, this small town somewhere, and this thing happened, whatever. And a bunch of kids like remember seeing each other in this like saucer or some lab. They remember seeing each other, and they had never met each other, and then they met each other after, and they had all had the same experience, the same people.
Funky.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But same deal. They were like, we were here, and then all of a sudden we were like 4 miles away, and we don't remember like the last 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And most of the people that have these like loss of consciousness, or they've been abducted and they have these memories, often they're like unlocked by like hypnotic trances. Like they'll do like hypnotherapy.
When they can remember it?
And then that's how they like tell their stories, is like when they're in this trance state, they tell or share their story, which is how most of the information comes out.
Because they couldn't remember it otherwise.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No, I have not.
My aunt's a hypnotherapist, so I do it regularly.
Do you like it?
It's so cool. It's great. It's basically, I don't need to get into it. It's a whole different thing, but like, it's basically like tapping into like your higher self, quote unquote higher self, whether you believe in that or not. But it's like, it's the same thing. It's a different level of consciousness that you put your brain like in a different frequency. And you can like tap into different things. You can make it a spiritual thing if you want, but whatever. But that's what's happening there, is that they didn't remember this stuff consciously, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So once they go into anyway, it's very cool. If anybody hasn't tried that too, also try that out. It's very fun. Anyway, the The alien abduction thing is creepy though, because, well, I actually have something about that here. And I gotta find it. Okay, here. So, say a growing number of scholars believe that sleep paralysis may be the explanation for ancient reports of attacks by witches and modern claims of alien abduction by space aliens. So this is the guess. Now, this is what like comes into like scientists who are like, they probably just don't want to believe the people, right? They're like, we got to find some actual right
explanation.
But only around 8% of people experience sleep paralysis once in their life.
Pretty low.
That's a very low percentage. But what they're saying is they think, like the scientists are saying, because they're like doubting it, people will draw like conclusions based on like things that they know. So they're like, oh, I've seen on TV that aliens and happen. Is like, oh, well, it feels similar to what I went through, but they don't recognize that it was sleep paralysis. That's what they're saying. I have a whole thing on sleep paralysis, but it's not, but I need to read it. It's really creepy though.
You can go ahead and read it.
Do you know anything about it?
I don't.
Oh,
I know.
So,
no,
do you know anybody that's ever gone through it?
I do not.
So it's sleep paralysis is a little side topic, but it's also related. Sleep paralysis is a condition identified by a brief loss of muscle control, known as atonia, which is the normal thing, but it happens just after falling asleep or waking up. In addition to atonia, people often have hallucinations during episodes of sleep paralysis. So it's basically two things happening together. So sleep paralysis is categorized as a type of parasomnia, and they're basically just abnormal behaviors during sleep. Like that's not a normal thing, right? And it's connected to rapid eye movements, REM sleep. If you don't know anything about sleep, that's when you dream.
Okay.
During REM sleep. And basically it just combines, I'll summarize it quickly. It combines atonia, which is when you don't move, happens when you're dreaming because it prevents you from like acting out dreams and stuff. And I'm assuming people that like sleepwalk don't have that. They have some sort of disorder or something like that. But it's, so you're supposed to have it. You're during REM sleep, you're supposed to kind of be paralyzed almost. It's a normal thing. But what happens is that basically there's an issue, it's a glitch in the matrix, and you wake up because it usually happens right when you go to sleep or when you wake up. And if you're waking up, you've waken up, but your brain is still in REM sleep and you're paralyzed. So you're awake and you know what's happening, but you're like, it's kind of this mix of where like,
you can't move.
So you can't move and you're dreaming. So you're like basically living out a dream in real life, like in this room here.
So you're awake while dreaming and you can't move.
Correct.
Okay.
But like that's terrifying. And usually it's like hallucinations. So it's like like demons and all these scary things. So that's what it is. That's what people think that maybe alien abductions are, which I don't really agree with potentially, but it could be. I guess it could be. But anyways,
it's a possibility.
Sleep paralysis, you don't want to do it. And I do believe you can put yourself into a state of that. Don't try it.
That does not sound enjoyable.
No, it doesn't sound fun.
No.
If anybody does, though, let me know how it goes.
Yeah, that sounds actually just terrible.
Yeah. Well, because you've been in dreams and it's like you're trying to do something and you're like terrified, you can't move. Can you imagine being in real life?
Like
awake?
Aware, like awake and not being able to move or do anything.
Nope. Yeah, don't sign me up.
Not fun.
What else?
I got another abduction story, which is a little interesting. The Betty Andreasen affair.
Affair?
Affair. She's what it was called.
An affair with the aliens?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll share the story, a little bit of context. She was in her home with 7 children and her parents. So there was 10 people in the home. Her father looked out the back window and saw several little creatures, which he thought as Halloween-like entities, but didn't do anything. So already the story's kind of weird. The father looks out the window, sees a bunch of Halloween-like
what does that mean?
Which is super vague.
Super vague. What a guy. People are like Power Rangers for Halloween.
Yeah. And just didn't do anything. He's like,
that's normal?
Normal Friday night.
What is it? It's like June, and he's like, well, I don't know. Somebody's confused. Do they think it's October?
Those damn kids next door.
What the heck? Okay.
So the next morning, everyone felt normal except for Betty, who had a strange feeling that something had happened. And over the next couple of weeks, she had flashbacks of humanoid creatures. And during hypnotic sessions is when the entire story came forward. All the family was placed in a state of paralysis soon after the father saw the creatures, where they entered the house and addressed them telepathically.
This is what they were recounting.
This is what she was accounting during her hypnotic sessions.
Okay.
Of what happened.
They communicated with them telepathically.
Yes.
Okay.
And took her aboard their disc-shaped craft.
Right.
Where they did a series of tests probing her body with a needle and removing a small object from her head by a needle inserted in her nostril, is what she claims.
Okay.
Now it just gets weirder.
This is not the weird part?
Not to me. It was. She next had a visionary experience of traveling into another world where she met a woman and Betty was a Christian. She believed this was God.
Okay.
Who told her that she was the chosen one.
God is a woman.
God is a woman, and Betty's the chosen one. And the events aboard the ship closed with a final lecture by an entity who told her that she would forget what had occurred, but that he and his companions loved humanity and came to help.
What were they helping?
We don't know.
That was very elaborate.
So that was the story.
This is where it gets
Betty.
weird though, because it's like who has unless like you really wanted to, but like what are you making this up for?
Right. And it's so elaborate of a story. It's like,
especially in a state like, because the little I do know about hypnosis and how that works, you're suggestible. So like that's how like stage hypnosis works. Like you can make somebody do something, but if they're just recounting it, like that's what they genuinely believe.
yeah.
That's where it gets weird. It was like but there's a very specific story, but it's also kind of confusing. But I have heard, based on this show that I watched, which you should really watch after.
Right.
But it seems to be a common theme with like almost all of them, and maybe it's a conscious thing, but like everybody describes a disc-shaped object. The interiors, if they've been in them, seem to be similar. The humanoid type looking things, and they seem to do like it. There's similarities between the stories, so it makes you kind of go, I don't know. But why are they hiding from us? That's the question. If these are real, what are they trying to do, and why?
Yeah, like it's so odd that all of these stories, like, they don't really remember what happened. And
no,
it's very few select people. Like, why are the aliens, if they're here, only doing this to like a few people?
What if they're doing it? What if they're doing it to more people, but only a couple people remember? Like they wipe everybody's memories, but like you and I haven't remembered ours.
Yeah, I guess that also stirs the topic of like, yeah, just like what are they doing?
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to communicate with like,
why not?
Earth.
Because we're messed up. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I wouldn't want to communicate with ours if there was a better life form. But it's so, I don't know. We'll never know. I hope we know it someday. Like we won't probably know in our lifetime.
Probably not.
But there was like a thing released recently from the government that was like UFOs. We do have like well, actually, I was going to talk a little bit about that. So, blah, blah, blah. I got to go through here and find. Okay, here. So in 1952, there's a CIA group called the Psychological Strategy Board. And they basically concluded that when it came to UFOs, the American public was dangerously gullible and prone to hysterical mass behavior. That's what they called it. Basically just saying you guys are a bunch of dumb idiots.
That come together and believe anything.
Yeah, you believe anything. It's like, this guy believed it, so I believe it too. That's what they said in 1952. And then the group recommended debunking campaigns to tamper the public's interest in unexplained phenomena. So they basically, I wrote here, they said people were dumb and it didn't exist. That's what, right? But then in December of 2017, I believe, the Pentagon confirmed the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. So they had things working behind the scenes that they didn't tell anybody about. So in 1952, they were like, guys, you're stupid. Don't deal with it. But then sometime in there, they started a program, and it was created in 2007. There we go. And there was a senator who reported being chased by a mysterious object. He was very scared. And he wanted to, they put in check this out though, $22 million of what they call black money. Have you heard that term before?
No, I have not.
So it just means it wasn't reported for tax purposes and basically didn't exist, quote unquote.
Okay.
Like they were sweeping it under the rug, right? Mm-hmm. $22 million the government put into this, and from the Department of Defense budget, and basically it just investigated UFO sightings. And why were they covering it up? Like, why would they said it didn't exist.
Back on their word.
And then and so based on the data that they collected, the program identified 5 observations that showed mysterious objects displaying some level of what they call advanced physics, also known as stuff humans can't do or create, right? And the objects would like accelerate with g-forces too strong for the human body to withstand, or reach hypersonic speed with no heat trail or sonic boom. They seem to resist the effects of Earth's gravity without any aerodynamic structures to provide thrust or lift. So they were just doing like things that shouldn't be possible. Mm-hmm. And they said there was like 5 different observations where they witnessed these things and they researched them and they don't know what it is. So does the government. They said it didn't exist, and then they were like, well, maybe
one senator got scared, so maybe it's real.
this guy was a little freaked out, so
$22 million later, because one guy.
But I have heard, and that's what I was gonna say, this new thing that was like the Navy or whatever, and they have like footage of these things, and they like just speed up and go away, and they don't know what they are.
Yeah, I think I saw an article on that actually
recently. It was just made public. I think I couldn't actually find anything on it, so clearly it's not that public.
Yeah, I didn't find anything either.
No, so I don't know. That's what makes it like these things in combination with all the stuff we've talked about. But why are they hiding from us?
That's the thing.
I don't know why they're hiding
Doesn't
from us.
Doesn't make any sense.
If you guys are listening to this, dear alien friends, come out of the woodwork. At least for me and Sean, come chat with us. We'll have you on the show. We'll make it a private thing, and don't worry. We'll have some beverages or something, and we'll make it a nice space for you.
Some sody pops.
You can take us on a tour of the ship.
Yeah.
Just make sure we remember it.
Just don't probe us.
That's right. Don't probe us. I don't consent to that. I don't really want. That's the other thing. A lot of them say they've been like probed or
a lot of probing going on. A lot of probing.
What's up with that?
Why you want to probe everyone?
What are you probing for?
You need to probe that many people? We're all pretty similar.
That's true. You have anything else?
I got one more abduction story. Oh. This one's a little different though.
Is it weird?
The other 2 I had were like they were abducted and then like they don't remember, and it wasn't really a great experience. Like the one lady got probed and got a needle in the head.
What do you mean by probed, by the way? Do you know? What does that entail?
I believe it's just like
it's like
an insertion.
Oh, those days like just a very thorough pat down.
No, I'm pretty sure probe.
Yeah, just Google it. Is it like they're like not injecting you, but like trying to? Is it like a what do they call that when you?
To probe is to physically explore or examine something with the hands or an instrument. So they're examining us.
Yo, they're getting in.
I thought probed meant like insertion, or that's usually the context it appears in.
like if they're taking what's the thing called when it's like they take a biopsy? That's the word I'm looking for. That would be some sort of probe. Maybe that's what they're up to. Stop being weird, aliens. Maybe that's why they're covering it up. They know that if we find out, they're going to be like, "What have you guys been doing to us?"
It's our turn to probe you.
Anyway, sorry. You were telling me the story.
This one is this guy claims to have met friendly Nordic aliens, is what he called them.
Nordic.
Who are his space brothers. All right. And he claims to have taken flights with them to the moon and other planets and have traveled the galaxy with them. The aliens communicated with him via telepathy and hand signals. So I don't know why you need hand signals when you're just communicating inside each other's heads, but
they're fluent in ASL.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Alien.
I turned the screen off. What the? Oh, there it's back.
We're back.
Okay, we're back.
Aliens warned of the dangers of nuclear war, and the aliens talked about living on Mars and Venus, which are not capable of supporting humanoid life.
How could you live on Venus? Isn't it gaseous?
Yes. Neither planet are capable of supporting humanoid life during this guy's
but they're not human.
Lifetime.
They're
not
aliens.
human though. But he said they're human-like.
Okay.
And he wrote 3 books on it and sold a lot of copies. So.
This guy made a lot of money off his story. That's the move, Sean.
Oh, I'm getting abducted tonight.
You get abducted and then you write down your very intense story.
Yes.
You take all the tests and everything and you say it was legit.
Right. And I snuck away aboard their ship and saw their plan.
And then you write about it. Wow. So these are supposed to be like fictional books. Like this happened.
No, this is nonfiction.
Sorry.
This
Which one?
Real life.
Nonfiction means
Science. Nonfiction.
There you go. Science, not. So there you go. Okay. So what did he call them? His space brothers?
Nordic alien space brothers.
What does that mean? Doesn't Nordic mean it like implies they're from like Earth? Because isn't Nordic like a refer to a location on Earth? I don't actually know what the Nordic countries are, or like, right? Is that not a thing? Like the Vikings and stuff, were they not Nordic? Or might be very
Nordic
wrong?
means 5 states: Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. So if you're from Northern Europe and Northern Atlantic, you're Nordic.
Okay, so then are they aliens from Earth? Because that would make them Nordic. This guy, he's got to get his facts straight. If you're going to put out a book,
I'm not quite
buddy,
sure what he was going for there.
it's okay. He give it a try. What's his name? Just in case we want to, we'll put the link to the book in the show notes.
George Adamski.
Adamski?
Adamski.
What's the name? You have the name of the book? You know?
No, I didn't write that.
Okay, I'm gonna just look at the name of the book in case anybody cares. I forgot his name.
George Adamski. 3 books. Nordic aliens and his travels with them aboard their spaceships. His books are The Flying Saucers Have Landed, Inside the Spaceships, and Pioneers of Space, A Trip to the Moon, Mars, and Venus.
Okay. So he took the same story and made 3 books out of it.
Yeah. Well, one book is they landed. Then he was inside the spaceship.
So it's like Twilight. They just dragged out the storyline throughout. Right. Okay. So
there you go.
That's interesting. Wow. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. I actually had a little more, but it's not really important. It was basically just that they do believe that you could, like we think, you need oxygen to live. But oxygen only makes up 0.1% of the entire mass of the universe. But you know what takes up more than that? Hydrogen makes up 92% of it. And there's bacteria that they've found on Earth that can survive in just containers of just hydrogen. So they're like, things can live and grow without oxygen. So maybe these are things, but I don't know. Let's not think about it too much. Just a little creepy.
Yeah.
That's nuts though. Wow. There's a lot of alien stories. So anybody listening, again, I recommend the Unsolved Mysteries thing on aliens. It's like an hour.
I'll have to check that out.
You gotta check it out.
It's on
get
Netflix?
Back to us. You watch it, and then by the time we do the next one, we can discuss it.
We can reflect.
That's right. We can all
can let us know if you got abducted by aliens.
And Sean will tell us about his abduction that will happen tonight. He's planning on it.
Right.
You put yourself
outside. I'll wear like a reflective jacket and got the helicopter. Like, I'm over
this
here.
This is me.
Land in the backyard.
You can put yourself into a state of sleep paralysis and have an experience. And then,
yeah, I'm not trying that.
You're not gonna Oh, well, look at us. 33 minutes, Sean.
Oh.
I don't know if it'll be that once it's edited, but it's currently 33.
Pretty close to that.
Pretty close. You want to do an ad or no? He's not a fan of the ads. I thought the last one, but every other episode, which means like twice a year. At this rate.
Yeah, we're in June. We got 1 episode this year recorded.
There we go. We'll do another one. We'll pound them out.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody listening wants to help out, make the show come out because you enjoy it, feel free to let me know. Because the more people we have helping, the more stuff we can get out. Yeah. Nobody's going to do that. I'm just sharing it out. I'm just sending it out there. Oh, I wanted to comment that the fact, and you said this at the beginning, that we both look very different than last time.
Oh, I don't. You definitely
Well, you got new glasses?
Yes.
Let's comment on the glasses. He looks good. Yeah? Look at that guy. I look like I've lived in the wilderness for about 8 months, 8 years.
The COVID look.
That's the COVID look. A lot of people have it. I look like Bo Burnham.
True.
He had the long hair going. And
Bo Burnham, he's looking pretty good.
He was looking pretty good. Are you trying to say I'm looking pretty good? Is that what's happening?
Oh, not too bad.
That's a good place.
Oh, no. Man down.
That's all. Bye.